Hello, in today's video we got a 2015 Ford Mustang with a P0141 error code. This code means there's a problem with the bank 1 sensor 2 oxygen sensor's heater circuit. Since this Mustang is a 4-cylinder, it does not have a bank 2, so it means it's our second oxygen sensor located after the catalytic converter. This is the first oxygen sensor, which would have been named as bank 1 sensor 1, but since it's an error code for sensor 2, it's a sensor located down there mounted on the catalytic converter itself. Not sure how well you can see it, but it's right there just below this first one. They make a special 7/8 socket which is meant for oxygen sensors, which has a split on the side for the wire. Or if the space is tight, you can use a 7/8 wrench. And of course we got a replacement OEM oxygen sensor just in case we need it. Once the engine is cool, we can make our way to the bad oxygen sensor. This connector is tucked up over the transmission, so to disconnect it we gotta reach our way up and press it on the tab and pull out the connector. We can check the oxygen sensor's heater circuit while the sensor is still attached, but to give you guys a better view of the testing, I'll be removing it. We can now begin removing the oxygen sensor itself, using the oxygen sensor socket. As you will notice, the space is pretty limited, so in this case we are better off using a wrench to loosen the sensor. Once you got it loosened, you can just remove the rest by hand. The oxygen sensor's heating element is located inside the tip of this oxygen sensor. This sensor does not generate any voltage signal until it reaches about 600 degrees, and to help get there faster they have put these heating elements inside, rather than have to wait for the engine's exhaust to warm it up to the temperature on its own. When the engine is cold and no signal is being received, the computer will order a predetermined rich fuel mixture, referred to as open loop. When we turn on the vehicle, you will notice that the heating element on the oxygen sensor brings the sensor up to temperature pretty fast and begins to send a signal, beyond the predetermined setting which is shown as 0.445 volts. So the longer you stay on open loop, the more gas you're spending since you're running rich. Once both the sensors start sending the readings, it'll switch over to closed loop. So you may wonder what these readings actually mean. Well, these sensors monitor oxygen readings. If it's running rich, there will be less oxygen, so it'll have a reading of close to 900 millivolts. While on the other hand, if more oxygen is present, it's going to run lean, with a signal closer to 100 millivolts, while the more optimal reading you want being closer to 450 millivolts. So now back to our oxygen sensor that we removed. We want to test the heating element, but this connector does not allow you to reach the pins with the probe from on top, so we'll have to connect to the terminals using the side of the connector. Here's a better look at the exposed portion of the terminal. The two wires that we are looking to connect to using our ohm meter is the red wire and the white wire. We connect one lead to the white wire and the other lead to the red wire, and we want to have our ohm meter set to 200 ohms. And as you can see, there is no continuity, meaning there is a break in the circuit or damage to the heating element itself, which is a common problem in these. So now we can attach the lead to the same two wires on our new oxygen sensor. And as you can see, these wires do give us continuity, meaning there is a complete circuit with no damage to the heating element. Here I'll be doing this test on this GM oxygen sensor I have, but as you will notice, the wire colors are different. As most oxygen sensors, wire color will differ depending on their make and year, For this one, you will notice we are testing the 2 white wires, which are for the heating element. And this oxygen sensor's heating element has continuity, as it should since it does work fine. Here's a quick example of continuity. Imagine this wire as a heating element. As long as it's a complete circuit, it has continuity. But once you cut it, it goes away. So now that we've verified that our oxygen sensor was a problem, we can go ahead and install a new one. You always want to make sure to use anti-seize on the threads. Most of the new oxygen sensors will come with some on them, but you want to verify before installing. And you want to avoid getting any on the tip as it can damage the sensor itself. And once we got the sensor tightened, we can reconnect the connector. And after clearing the code, that should just about take care of this vehicle's problem. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It helps support the channel, and don't forget to press that subscribe button if you haven't done so already.